Grab your cup of coffee, grab your 3-in-1. It's 8 a.m. here in the Philippines. This is Dan coming to you live from Bye Bye City, Leyte. Is there music going on in the background? I'm just wondering about that. Let me see if I could shut that down. Welcome in, welcome in. All right, feeding the ducks is where I've been. Hey, thanks for showing up, Anime Reyes, Rodel Jean God. How are you? Jean Avery. All my friends are in the house so far. I just thought I would come on here at 8 a.m. Tuesday morning, Philippine date and time, just to see if anybody would show up. And also, I had another motivation. The motivation was that I get asked a few questions about how I come to be retired in the Philippines. And so I thought that I would take the time to answer or share a few of those ideas with you. And so it started many, many, many years ago. It has always been the plan that one day Dan and his lovely wife Minnie would retire to the Philippines, the land of opportunity. And why? To live the American dream. That's why most people are coming here. We're closely aligned with the USA. It's like being in the States. I keep telling people that, but they don't believe me. Pardon me while I grab a cup of coffee. It's been rather hot here the past few days. I don't know, are we headed into rainy season soon? I'm not sure what season we're in. But it usually takes about 3 years or 4 years or so to become acclimated to the heat. It really never gets much over 88 or 90 degrees Fahrenheit. What is that, about 31 degrees or 32 degrees Celsius? But the main problem is the humidity, because we live on islands, a series of islands, 7,000 islands to be exact, 7,000 plus, which means there's water everywhere, which means that you got to have air conditioning inside your house, or you've got to build a house, a native house most likely, that absorbs or forms a thermal break or thermal barrier so that you don't burn up inside. But the beautiful part about living in the Philippines is the fact that you are outside most of the time. You're outside the house. People don't live, generally speaking, I should say, they don't live indoors like most Americans. No, Sam, I apologize, I don't have my latex gloves with me today. I'm so sorry. Lazy Larry is in the house. Sam Gloves is here. Bruce Davis, how are you? Good morning. It's morning time here in the Philippines. And yeah, so it always has been the plan. And I've always been sort of a deep thinker, and unfortunately too deep of a thinker. That's the problem. You know, my mind is always consumed with these ideas, and so one of the ideas I had many years ago was that, with the boomers all retiring all at the same time within the next 20 years or so, they're going to suck the air right out of the atmosphere in the United States. That was one thing. And it's starting to happen now. Will it take place throughout the rest of my lifetime? I kind of don't think so. I kind of think that it will stunt the growth, in the United States. Economic growth is pretty much what I'm talking about. And I didn't want to, it's selfish, I realized that. I didn't want to have to live through that. One of the irritations was owning a house and then having to pay those property taxes every single year in the United States. It's terrible. It kept going up, and I'd have to work a part-time job on top of my regular full-time gig in order to be able to afford to pay the property taxes. And so I decided that, this isn't such a great idea. And I started comparing renting versus owning in the United States and realized that there seemed to be a lot of more benefits involved if you rented as opposed to own a home. If you own a home, then there are a whole bunch of hidden costs. It's just not simply, things like paying the property tax. It's the maintenance on the house. It's the new roof. It's the rewiring. It's the plumbing issues. It's all of that costs a lot of money. So, I started to get excited when I realized, man, if I could do away with that, my income would go up $4,000 or $5,000 per year. That's a lot of money, and all for just finding some place to rent. A studio apartment would be fine. A lot of people that come here to the Philippines, many people live in studio apartments, and they live there perfectly fine. But I wanted sort of a hybrid sort of system where we had home ownership, so I wouldn't have to worry about inflation creeping in here like it did in the States, and having to be responsible for the increases in rent over time. I'm only covering maybe a 10 or 15 year period of time, but I was more concerned about my wife and her family. I was more concerned about Minnie and making sure that she, being younger than myself, 18 years younger, that she was taken care of and wouldn't have to worry about these things. And so that's how this whole idea came to be over the course of the last 20 years. And so, of course, as many of you know, Mike is here, Buena Vista Dreamin'. Mike's a good guy from the Bay Area and is getting ready to build a place up in here. Not too far from here, Buena Vista. Hence the title of the show, Buena Vista Dreamin'. Oh, you're set up nice, Bruce. But these things are key, because rent kills you. It represents something like, home ownership does in the United States, represents, depending on where you live, and we're from Sacramento, California, and it probably took up, we were lucky because we bought the house in 2006. So, we had a low mortgage payment, comparatively. But these days, if you tried to replicate that, you're looking at 50% of your household income is most likely going to go towards rent. And so rent, or the cost of living in the United States, is the real deal killer. It's not that you don't have love for the country where you were born and raised. It's about, whether you want to live an enjoyable life in retirement. It's more about that. And yeah, sure, we could have stayed there. We could have continued humping, paying that property tax, paying the mortgage. We would have been perfectly fine. But there were a couple of other things that I started thinking about. And that was maintenance of the house. Have you noticed that retirees tend to not maintain their house the way that, a 30-year-old or 35-year-old coming in and buying a home for the first time maintains their house? I started thinking about, a life sitting in front of the TV set, Oh yes, health insurance is bad too. That's right, that's the other dilemma. Of course, we were lucky, we were lucky that health insurance was provided for us through work, and they footed 90% of the tab on that. So we were okay that way, and that's why we rushed. When we were in the States, of course, we're getting everything fixed, especially heading towards retirement. I know other things would have happened also, like, for example, Minnie, she loves to work. She loves to earn that money, and I knew if we stayed there, she was just going to go, she just was going to stay working all the way up until my last breath, I would imagine, It might or might not have happened that way, but the chances are pretty good that it would have. I would have been sitting there in the living room in front of the big screen, I don't know, playing solitaire or something, and she would have been out making the money with a smile on her face because she loves making the money. As a matter of fact, the building of this house, that we live in now, 80% of the money was Minnie saving the money over 5 years, 5 or 6 years, something like that. Billy is here, brother from a different mother. How are you, Billy? Nice to see you. Yeah, Billy, you know, and people are going out of business. Why? Because nobody is working. The prevailing wage jobs, they're going away, and downtown is becoming like a ghost town, you know? Yeah, I know. You know, you know what you're making me think about? The favorite thing that people like to say. What are you doing living there in a third world country? Well, first of all, it's not really a third world country. It more falls in the category of developing nation, you know. Yeah, Filipinos in general, they like to work and save money. They're naturals at it. She saved for 80% of this house build, right? And also the one that we're getting ready to build next door. So as most of you know, we're getting ready to build another house. You couldn't do that in the States. We couldn't even build this one in the States. There's no way. Oh yeah, they protested to keep working from home. And you know, little do they know, it's killing off all their friends' businesses in the downtown area of Sacramento. And this is happening all over the place. You know, and so it's just terrible. It's terrible there. I wouldn't have been a happy person. But Minnie, from the very beginning of our relationship, it was always the plan to come back to the Philippines, to return home. And we had a list of things that we had to accomplish before that could happen. And one by one, we checked them off the list. You know, for example, a big one was her becoming a dual citizen. You have to have standing if you want to collect up those Social Security, survivor's benefits, and retirement, you know, check. You have to have standing, and the only way to do that is had to become a naturalized citizen. And so that means living in the United States for a certain period of time, earning some money, paying into the system, and becoming a naturalized citizen. You know, it seems like, you know, when you're facing these types of things moving forward, they seem insurmountable. And then when you look at them behind, you kind of look at them going, oh, that wasn't so bad. God repairs is in the house. How are you? Yeah, it's a really, I remember a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of, tearing my hair out. Well, I don't have to worry about that anymore. And trying to figure out, you know, if we were going to be able to pull this off. But we did, you know, we did. And anyway, here we are in the Philippines. But it could have been any place except that I'm married to a Filipina. I doubt that had things not turned out this way, that we met, fell in love, and have this great relationship, I doubt that I would have, as a single person, stayed in the United States, you know, because it's just too dang expensive. It's too much money, the cost of living, and I wanted to have the opportunity, I wanted to take advantage of the opportunity of traveling around and seeing as many places as I possibly could on this beautiful place that we call the earth before I departed for parts unknown. Definitely unknown in my case. See, that was the whole idea behind it, you know? It was not really why would you want to be a part of an economy that has a stagnant growth as opposed to one that is growing like crazy, such as here in the Philippines? I really don't know why anybody would. Let me see. It's a difficult decision to make. What do I do? You got 6 plus economic growth in the Philippines, and you got an amazing 2.2 growth rate. A declining number, 1.2, 1.7, depending on the quarter that you're looking at. Things aren't looking good, and then you want me to have a smile on my face every time I'm writing that property tax check. Here, oh yeah, property tax, yeah. Bruce is saying, Dan, I can barely buy potato chip. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You know, everybody's talking about uh, everybody's talking about the current economic situation in the United States. You know, some, depending on what, side of the fence you're on, are talking about, the economy is going to be destroyed. But if you think about this, right? When was the last time one of you that are in the States, thought about going out there and buying a brand new car or a brand new television set or a brand new double door refrigerator, that sort of thing? Oh, do I have an echo? I'm sorry, I'm too close to the mic. Let me back it off. Better yet, let me do this. Hang on just a second, Tim. Thanks for letting me know. Yeah, let me see if I took care of it. Let me know if I took care of that echo. So, yeah, I'm working on a shoestring budget here, folks. Here in the Dan studio in the basement of the house in Bye Leyte. No air conditioning. I have fans running. You probably hear them going in the background. Yeah, so I couldn't understand why. It's not just a matter of affordability, like I only have so much money coming in and I got to make it work. We could have made it work in the Philippines because, as I pointed out, Minnie would have continued working because she loves to work. So she would have continued to bring home a paycheck. And she loves the people that she worked with and they loved her. I mean, Dan still echo. Okay, let me move this back. Sounds like I'm in the toilet. Well, that's because I am, Mike. All right, let's check it out again. I'll have to start unplugging stuff here pretty soon. Someone let me know. And are things getting any better? So that's basically the reason for being here, because you could build a house. You could build, in our case, a couple of houses. This second one is not going to be the last. I don't believe so. Mike Married is here, or Mike Hey Joe. Where's Mike Married? It is echo off walls. It's still echoing. All right. I could switch, I suppose, mics. So anyway, did you get that joke, Mike? I could, never mind. What is it, 5 to 8 p.m., somewhere in there in the States? I hope you're enjoying or have enjoyed your Monday dinner. Anyway, what was I talking about? Let me see if I could back things off a little bit. Maybe that will help. I've unplugged the speakers. I've unplugged my soundboard. I think that's about all I could do. Oh, no. Hang on, everybody. Let me go into settings and see that if I could do stand by, everyone. I hope I don't lose you. Let me see if I could do this. Edit mic settings. Let me go into... All right, I hope that took care of it. So anyway, that's the basic reason for being here. You can't afford to do any, for crying out loud, what is it now in Sacramento, I think the house that we vacated, the house that we sold in Sacramento is now selling for something like, if we were to try and go back and repurchase it, it's good. Thank you, Bruce. It would sell for something, I couldn't afford to buy it because it's going to go for something like $450,000 to $500,000. It's in a very poor neighborhood. You actually wouldn't want to go back there. At the time we bought it, it was a neighborhood in transition, and it was climbing up there. Everybody was repairing their homes and doing things like that. Are they, Mike? Are they starting to go down? I haven't seen it in this particular neighborhood of Sacramento, and most likely it's because it already hit rock bottom. You know, where are you going to buy a house for $450K in Sacramento, for crying out loud? You have to get into the 6 and the 800,000 range in order to get into a decent neighborhood. So, I mean, that's the way it is. But here, it cost us, what, $72,000, including the land purchase to build this home. How are you going to do that in the United States? And now we're going to do a second one, right? A second one next door, and land purchase and the building of the entire house should not run us more than $52K, something like that, and hopefully a lot less, depending on, you know, how if I'm pretty good at doing the material purchases. You know what's really interesting about this particular move to Rancho Cambodia? Well, you know, even there, the prices have gone skyrocket, Tim. That used to be the go-to place in the Sacramento area, right? But not any longer. It's just expensive there as it is anywhere. You have Gold River. They renamed part of it Gold River, for crying out loud, Tim. Can you believe that? And not only that, if Russia decides that they want to drop something upon them, well, that's the target, because that's where the military bases are. And they haven't retargeted those devices, if you know what I mean. How long will it take to build a home? The time budget is 3 months. And so we're on a timeline of 3 months. The plans are due, the approval of the plans are due any day now. Yeah, North Highlands and Mather. Whoa, you know, North Highlands. There you go. You know, Billy, you reminded me of something, right? How they renamed Antelope, where the antelopes roam. Antelope? What? To create another bubble where they could charge people double money. I mean, isn't that ridiculous? No hollow block, easy peasy, exactly. So I've been out pricing things. You know what? I was just about ready to talk about this a little bit. Mike, how about this, right? So I put the plans into, well, they already gave me the cost of a material list, but it was way off. And so I put it into Chat GPT, and it spit out, you need 31 3/4 inch hardy flex boards. You need 400 20-foot or 200 20-foot 2x4s. It gave me the entire materials list and what I should be paying for them. Can you believe it? Philippine prices. All I did was put that in there inside Chat GPT, and it spit out the accurate material list along with the current costs. We'll pick your brain and hire you to be my buying agent. There's a lot of small 200 square meter. Listen, you like the country. You know, this is becoming more like the city where we're at. I mean, there's so much building going on. It's starting to look like, I don't know, Sunset Avenue or something. You know, it's starting to look like any place, anywhere in the subdivision. But in any case, Mike, I took your advice. We didn't start building. What we did start to do is build the rebar. And of course, they're all painted now. So now the guys are going to start on other parts of the foundation. And so they're not here today. They'll be here tomorrow, and they're going to start in on that. And also, we've got the guys coming to finish leveling off the land. They're going to be here tomorrow. They're going to start dumping material so we could level everything off. And I've had a conversation with them, so they know exactly how we want this done. It should be good. No, but they don't know that. See, here's the whole thing. Tim, I don't know if you know this or not, but they don't retarget very often over there in some of the Slavic countries, some of the Russian nations. Yeah, They don't think it's that important, that big of a deal. So I know from my Intel friends, I know exactly where it's targeted, and you wouldn't want to be living anywhere near there. I know what intersection is targeted where they could wipe out both bases with one device. So they're very efficient, you know. My home is built with chocolate rebar. Must be very tasty, except it must contain a lot of lead, CBGB. I don't know if you've seen those recent stories about Hershey's and other chocolate manufacturers. Anyway, that's how we came to be here, you know, and so it's working out just fine. But the next step, of course, is to build a passive income. You know, you have to figure out a way to generate money in the event that something goes sideways, you know. And so this is one way that I thought about doing it. I said, well, real estate is cheap. It's cheap to build here. You know, you maybe build 2 or 3 small homes, rent them out to expats or whoever, and generate some income, generate some pesos in the event something terrible happens. And you have to become more self-sufficient. You know, like all of a sudden you get the phone call, you know, oh, Dan, you know, we overpaid you on your Social Security. Oh, Dan, the pension fund went broke. Oh, Dan, you know, all that stuff, right? Yeah, I never got into crypto, but there are guys here that got rich. And there are guys on YouTube that you know and love that have successful YouTube channels that got rich, right? On cryptocurrency. You guys probably know who they are. And so now talking about the cost of living, I didn't really want to go here again, except that, you know, some things that I watch on YouTube, they irritate the hell out of me. You can never really do a cost of living video because it depends so much upon your lifestyle, but you can illustrate what the cost of living is for you and what that represents. So I don't mind throwing it out there for anybody to catch that our household budget, which does not include travel or any of that stuff like going away to Siem Reap in Cambodia or Phnom Penh or Bangkok or Pattaya or any of those places are not in this budget. And that is the household budget when we're here at home is a better way of saying it, is now up to 1,400 American dollars per month. And when I tell that to Filipinos, they're shocked. They're just absolutely, you know, they can't believe it. They go, that is a huge budget. I mean, a huge budget. You know, I think here in the Philippines, if you're living, you know, within the range of the equivalent of 300 to 600 American dollars per month, you probably are living a pretty decent lifestyle. So, but here, if you want to live a comfortable Western lifestyle, you're probably going to be in that range. But that does not, it doesn't include medical, it doesn't include travel, it doesn't include all those things. And so I believe I saw a video recently within the last 2 days or so, where someone said the $1,500 American dream is harder to accomplish here in the Philippines these days. And it's all subjective, you know, it's all subjective. And the reason why I say that is because Minnie and I, we were over there in Cebu for a month. We were only paying, you know, we've done it before. We were only paying $350 rent, and rent is going to be the largest portion of your expenses. And that included, of course, electricity. $350 per month included the power bill. It included the internet, which they provided for free, and they also provided the water. Those deals, and it is a deal, they're hanging around, right? And the reason why some of the hotels do it is because that's guaranteed income for them, especially when times get a little bit thin like they are now. As most people realize, tourism is not doing so well. It's not doing so hot here in the Philippines right now. Hot. Yeah, it's starting to heat up. That's why I decided to do this at 8 a.m. in the morning, Philippine time. I'll be burnt by 9 a.m., I'm sure. So yeah, so I wouldn't go to somebody and say, it can't be done. I mean, of course it could be done. It could be done, and you could even set money aside for future medical expenses, and also future travel. You know, I mean, it's your lifestyle, you know? Okay, all right, Larry, go check your laundry. You have to go to the laundry room. $3,000 a month, I'd be living in CB land. Did I just say CBGB? I'd be living in BGC. I'd be living the high life, because you can get an apartment there, a studio to a one bedroom, for about $1,000 per month. But even if you weren't in the high rent district, you just go a few blocks away into Makati or some other area. And we have stayed there in an apartment long term once or twice. And I think we were paying somewhere in the range of $400 or $500 a month. You know, it can be done, is what I'm saying. It can be done. Yes, CBGB land. Yes. That's Disneyland, right? CBGB. By the way, it always cracks me up, you know, thinking about the story where I had a relative visiting in Sacramento, and they said, "Oh, Dan, can we go to Disneyland?" Yeah, we can. We can take a plane, a train, a boat, a hobble, a taxi, a bus. We can get down there in a day or two. What do you mean? Well, Disneyland isn't exactly down the street from Sacramento, California. See, California is a really, really big place. It's almost its own country. Yeah, they want to brag about the expenses. Yeah, and listen, we know, Tim, we know from living here that you can do it for less money, and all the power to you if you have that kind of dough to spend. All the power to you if you want to throw, you know, that 3,000 out there and enjoy your life living in the high rent district. I'm certainly a fan of anybody, you know, wanting to live the way that they want to live. You know, I would not criticize them or you know, but yet at the same time, I wouldn't tell anybody what it takes to live here either, because I don't know. I can only give them my own experience, right? That's right, Finn Snow, who is in Darwin, that built his big, beautiful mansion on the top of the hill. You know, now that's living. You know, that's a dream. That's a dream come true no matter where you live. The Philippines, the United States, Europe, anywhere. If you can pull that off, then I bow down to you. The swimming pool and all those other things, right? That's the style of living that they desired, and apparently they have the money in order to pull it off. Yeah, so I mean, but do we have inflation here? A little bit, a little bit. You know, we have inflation that's running probably somewhere around, give or take, any given month, somewhere around 2%. So it's very manageable. You know, it's a very manageable thing. And the United States, I don't know really what the true inflation rate is, because I'm not there. So I don't pay too much attention to it. But I did look this up. I looked this number up, and it might surprise you that the tariffs that everybody is talking about only increased the price of goods by about 1/10 of 1%. So there. So all you critics about tariffs, The reason why this is happening, I'm telling you, the reason why they had to do this is because the United States is stalled. It's going to be stalled out for the next 10 years simply based on economic, just demographic trends. So when you don't have prevailing wage people working, then they don't pay taxes. If they don't pay taxes, then how are you going to keep the ship afloat? You need people making prevailing wage. This is why you don't see, oh, Kuya Dave is in the house, Kuya Dave Adventures. See, this is the reason why you don't see much pushback when places like California want to increase the minimum wage to $20, $25, or $30 per hour for fast food workers, you know? But it's not working out so great. Yeah, they're happy. The 2 or 3 people that are working the line or holding the line at McDonald's are happy. But if you notice, even at McDonald's, they're changing, they're going over, they're moving over to AI. And so you're going to be doing all the work. You're not going to be cooking the food. Robots are going to be doing that. But you're going to be going in there and ordering it. Listen, I hear they've got a machine where you just voice. You go in there, and instead of having to push the thing with your finger, you just tell it what you want. You know, oh, give me a Big Mac meal. Supersize that for me, and give me the large fries. I know. I read that article. Billy Chando's, he closed down. Did he bite off more than he could chew? I meant. Kyle Vlogs is here. Did Chando's bite off more than he could chew? And then why didn't he go back and just keep the original Chando's taco stand open? Remember when there used to be a line going around the building? Yeah, that's right. Always tell them you want fresh. Tell them, don't give me the stuff that's in the heat lamp. French fries, they taste the same, exactly the same. Oh, by the way, in case you guys don't know it. Oh, he has what? Oh, is that what happened? It's a PR nightmare. But he could have gotten somebody to run it for him, right? Or he could have made the make-believe I'm selling it off to one of my managers. But the expansion, it happened too quickly, and you just can't control things unless you can't control things that well. In other words, he started having operational problems because he expanded too quickly. And that's one of the kisses of death. And so his stores they started not to do so well. Chando's closed, Nitban, all of them. He closed all the stores. He's got issues, they're saying here. He's got issues. He's got things going on. Kylie Vlogs or Kyle Vlogs? Is it Kylie or Kyle? All right, so now, so people talk about, well, how can you live with the impoverished conditions that are in your face every single day? Well, interestingly enough, not so much here where we're living here in Bye-Bye. But yes, if you go into sections of, like for example, Tondo, areas of Malate, you're going to see this in Manila. You're going to see this in parts of Cebu. But then I'm looking at this, I'm seeing the same thing in San Francisco. I'm seeing it in Oakland. I'm seeing it in Los Angeles. Has anybody driven down 7th Street lately and taken a look? Hello? Tell me, is the United States in decline? I'm talking about economically and socially. Nip Band is in the house. Nip Band, are you done working for today? So, you can come over here and then you could pay about as much attention if you want and talk about how, the Philippines is a third world nation. I wouldn't want to live there because I see impoverished conditions. They're in my face day in and day out, but they're not. Tim says there are places in Angeles City area that my driver doesn't drive through because it's dangerous. And you have these places all over the world. But I do believe you have a lower crime rate here, but I don't have the actual stats. And you don't have gunshots, not until recently, going off in the middle of the night. Not like you do in Oakland. Not where you have to, put your bed flat on the floor for safety reasons. Here, we have natural calamities, right? We're running from floods. We're running from many, many days of high temperatures. We have to deal with brownouts here in the Philippines because everybody is sucking the electricity dry because they're running their ACs, things like that. But they're doing their best to improve the infrastructure here as quickly as they can. There are projects going on everywhere. So Nip Ann says, I had an Irish coffee at the Buena Vista Cafe after 10 years. Oh, that's nice. You finally decided to give them some business. And we have earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. And everything seems to be coming alive right now. So, you think California is safe from natural calamity? You ain't seen nothing yet. You think LA ain't gonna get an earthquake or two in your lifetime? Oh my gosh. That's the whole thing. So there's a trade-off. There's both good and bad, no matter where you live in the world. And we don't really know if we're going to be here forever. I probably will be, because forever, it has it's a little bit shorter. My forever probably is like this, right? Compared to yours. Your forever is like this. It goes on forever. So, but check this out. I don't know if I've talked about this before, but you might be interested in knowing that we have younger people coming in here from the States. They're showing up everywhere. Tim, have you noticed? I don't know if this is going on in your neck of the woods, but it's going on here. You know something? I wonder if Bye Bye City Leyte is the new Duma. I wonder if Bye Bye City Leyte is the new Dumaguete. I started thinking about that. There's so many people showing up here. Nip Ann said, I just checked that my home insurance this year is going up. What? That's the kind of stuff that caused me to flee with my wallet, Nip Ann. I cannot stand stuff like that. It gives me heartburn, CBGB says, I have forever stamps. Forget Duma. Duma's coming to us. They just opened up the Bo's coffee shop and the new 5-star hotel that they built. And check this out, Mike. I don't know if you knew this before you left here to head back to La La Land, but the Valley of the Host. But check this out. I do apologize. Mike happens to live in a very, very nice area of Vallejo, but now very geographically desirable neighborhood, I would say. This is why the value of the property will not go down. It's because it's geographically beneficial to live there. If you work in the city, if you work in Sacramento, you can get there easily from Mike's house. Yeah, I didn't mean to give you that, Mike. But anyway, here's the whole idea. Yeah, so we have a Bo's coffee shop. They just had the grand opening. But guess what else? Can you say Starbucks? Can you say Starbucks? We have Starbucks and McDonald's. They submitted a deal. And plus, still cheap compared to other towns. Plus the host. Yes, it's a very nice area to live. It's a very nice city to live in, right? Yes, and it's close to the Air Force Base, right? It sure is. And so if you go to the VA, You know, it's also near the VA, right? The VA is on the base, the medical facility. Is it not, Tim? I think so. So anyway, by the way, I'm jumping all over the place. Let me talk about the youngsters that are showing up. We have a ton of youngsters showing up here with jobs, with online jobs, right? I'm talking about 35-year-olds with families showing up here and living a fine life because they are making American money in the Philippines. Take that. Yeah, but I'm a little jealous. You know, I'm a little jealous of Nitban also, because Nitban is one of those people that travels around with his computer, works when he wants to, makes hella money. He's probably making 6 figures or more. Right, Nitban? When are you coming back to the Philippines, or are you? When you get it? When you come into Thailand, so we can at least meet there. Larry's back. So, I mean, so we have youngsters here, you know, carrying their computers in their satchels, and it makes me jealous of them. And jealousy is bad. Where's God repairs? It's God repairs in the house. Jealousy is bad. Oh my gosh. But they have to work the night shift, and so I just smile. Haha, I'll be sleeping. Haha, I'll be sleeping. I'm shy, Nitban says. Oh, listen, okay, so the young people are showing up with their young girlfriends, having families, working the 9-to-5 grind, or I should say they're working the night shift 10 to 6, which is amazing to me. They're the new digital nomads, and so they're figuring it out. In a way, I'm jealous. In a way, get back in the United States and suffer like the rest of us. You know, do your 20, retire, get an income, get a pension. No, they don't have to, because they got their computer with them. They got their laptop. Have laptop, will travel. And so you'll sit, they're banging away on the keyboard, right at the coffee shop. You're coming in there. Yeah, on the night shift. That's right, Bruce. On the night shift. Yeah, so, yeah, anyway, I wish I could give you a whole bunch of negatives for living here. Give me a minute. I got nothing. I got nothing, Mike. I tried, but what could I say? Oh, Travis has the David Grant Medical Center. There you go. And so I don't know why you want to move here, Mike. I really don't. I think you should stay put. Especially now that you know this place is becoming Duma. But hey, you're way up in the hill anyway. What, you're only going to come down to go shopping, you know? Tim says we have a very unreliable internet connection problems. Get Musk, the Musk machine. What's it called? Starlink. You guys have your pensions. We have our laptops. Exactly. It's all fair in love and war, right, Nitban? Yeah. It's all fair in love and war. And so you could be over here and banging away on your laptop. You know, we'll be banging away on something else. Oh, I can't believe he said that. See, God repairs is there in the BG. She said right there, yes, jealousy is not good. But that's why I need God in my life, quite frankly. So now, just do what you have on hand. That is a good point. That's the lesson learned for this live stream. And that's kind of like the point that I'm trying to convey, right? So what was the other? Oh, so Mike, Nipet, CBGB, Tim, you will be, Anime, you'll be shocked. to hear this, that we were driving down the street the other day and saw that they're building a brand spanking new mall. It's not a mega mall like a Robinson's, Ayala, or something like that. It's not that kind of a mall. It is a 2-story mall, very much like the Central Mall, except twice the size. They put those support pillars up very, very quickly. I mean, they went up, boop, just like that. One morning I drove by, nothing, empty lot. The next day, pillars going on forever, support columns everywhere. Nitban says, yes, I have many vices, but jealousy is not one of them. I am happy. Nitban, you're one of the guys that I'm talking about. You're one of the ones that I go, Nitban. Huh. What? Nitban? Huh. But hey, you made your million. Why don't you just go home or come to the Philippines or Thailand? I thought you had a girlfriend somewhere. The pillar guy, exactly. Have pillars, will travel. So here's the whole thing, you know. So we always get, you know, I always get a hater or two coming out. I've talked about this ad nauseum. We get these haters, right? You know, haters are gonna hate no matter what, right? But they always want to come out and say the same boring crap over and over again, you know. Well, you can't own land in the Philippines. Never, ever, 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 never, ever, ever, ever. They always want to say the same crap, you know. Why? Your wife is going to take all your crap one day and she's going to leave you on the street homeless. Listen, that could happen anywhere you live in the world. You mean it hasn't happened to you? That's amazing. It's happened to me twice so far. Why do they do that? Yes, 2 people in the U.S. told me to go home in the last 15 years. You are the third. No, I don't mean get out of our country, you immigrant. That isn't what I meant, Nitban. Oh my gosh. No. That isn't what I meant. My gosh. I really don't want you to go home because the United States is only growing through immigration alone. Nobody around me that I know of is having kids, repopulating the planet. Yeah, exactly, Tim. It happens everywhere. The Philippines is no different. No. That's why we hate you, Nitban. It's because you're such a happy man. Anyway, living in a happy land. Nitban's a happy man, living in a happy land. Oh my goodness gracious, that's hilarious. I have a whole song now. Of course, if I were still in Sacramento, I would have no creative. There would not be a creative bone in my entire body. But here in the Philippines, I just want to sing. La 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 la, la 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 la. Why is that? Is it because I'm retired? Is it because I've adapted to the culture? Or is it because the Philippines has adopted me? Oh boy. Anyway, it is what it is. So anyway, the haters come out and, well, you could hate from your country. You could hate from your country. All right, finishing up. I'd just like to say. Yeah, exactly. Imperador and coffee and a good breakfast. What more could you possibly want? There's nothing better than this cup of coffee right here that I've got, and just a little something over ice in the evening. Just one drink. Just one drink. That's it. Don't worry, Dan. You still don't have a creative bone in your body. Thanks for that confirmation there. I wanted Tim to reaffirm that for me, and he did. Let's see, a BJ, but that is a different story. Oh my gosh! All right, well, okay. So finishing up with the growth, and listen, if the growth that's going on here scares you, don't come. Find some other province. But truth be told, we have a Starbucks going in. Mike, I've been told that the Starbucks is going into the old city hall. Can you believe that? The perfect place for it. The perfect place for it. And I don't know if that's true or not. I really don't. I'm just spreading rumors. And a McDonald's. And now we're starting to hear the deal has been cut for McDonald's. I will no longer have to drive 45 minutes north of here in order to get a Happy Meal with the toy that I want. Dad, is the Philippines like candy and a rainbow? Yeah, and we have unicorns. We have flowers and unicorns. Crystals is here. It's always an adventure with crystals around. So you see, do you need to hear from me that life is what you make it or make of it? Do you need to? It's not about me hating anything. I'm just filled with love. Love for family, love for friends, love for all of you, love of the Philippines, love of the Filipino people. And if we were in the States, I probably would still be in love, with people in the States. I probably would be in love to, even the worst parts of San Francisco and Sacramento, I would be in love with it. Because I adapt. Bye. Take care, Mike. Thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. Thanks for the support. We'll see you when you get here next time. I hope it's sooner than it is later. We got McDonald's in Balino, Philippines. Pangasinan. It's great. I can go every day if I wanted to. I can't remember. Crystals. When we were there visiting you, did you have a McDonald's? I think we ate at Jollibee, but is there a McDonald's in that mall? I'm just curious. Yes, I am full of it. But anyway, so we have something in common, right, Tim? We have a lot in common. We have a lot more in common than I thought, Tim. I thought you were going to go into radio silence for the next 6 months. I thought you were going to climb Mount Everest or something like Nitban. Anyway, folks, for now, that's all I got. That's all I got to share with you. So I don't know if I've been helpful or not. I don't think so, because I think that in here we have a whole bunch of like thinkers, What does Tim say? I admit I am full of something. Yes, you are full of something. And Nitban, I have McDonald's, but I don't remember the last time I visited one. Good for you, Nitban. Good for you. Every once in a while, though, I have the craving, I want to relive my youth, and that involves 39-cent hamburgers. So sometimes you'll see me sitting down at the 39-cent hamburger store down here near the pier. But it's not the same. It's not the same as the Golden Arches and 39-cent hamburgers and 10-cent Cokes. Bruce says, God repairs. I got a condo, my wife's house. I love the Philippines. I've met lots of really good, friendly people. It's not, by the way, and I'm sure Bruce agrees, it's not that we don't have friendly people. right? In the States, they're friendly people everywhere, but they are ultra friendly here in the Philippines. And the only way that you could find out if that's true or not is to get that plane ticket and get over here. You got to get on the plane. You got to come here. Listen, it's not going to cost you any more than it does for a 2-week vacation at your timeshare in Maui. And instead, you'll be able to spend 2 months here for the same amount of money. So what's it going to be? Is it going to be 2 weeks in Maui on the white sandy beach at your timeshare? Or is it going to be 2 months in the Philippines? Mike Merritt is here. Good morning, the beautiful Minnie and Dan in the Philippines. So, oh, you prefer Burger King, but we got Burger King here. What are you waiting for? Get on that plane. Get over here. We got Burger King in the Philippines. I know exactly right where it is. Not in Ormoc, though. You have to go to Cebu and Mango. Not too far from 18 Suites, as a matter of fact. 1 jeepney ride. That's all it is. Get on the Jeep, and it's going to take you right to the Burger King. Hi, the amazingly wonderful Crystals and the rest. Let's see. Oh, wait, I think God Repairs said something really important here. Well, in general, Philippines is a really nice. Let me see. I got to bring this up on the screen. Well, in general, Philippines is really nice to settle. We are democratic, and the Lord's mantle of protection is here for lots of people acknowledge. And the more if we live as godly, accept that. I will say this to critique the comment just a little bit. The Pope is missing in action. I mean that. The Pope is missing in action here in the Philippines. There is birth control on the counter at 7-Eleven right here in the Philippines. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Where's the Pope? Love Burger King in Angeles City. When's the next time you're going to be there? We'll be there to meet you, Bruce. We will head north to Angeles City. I'm kind of wanting to go now, I'm kind of wanting to go now, but we gotta square all the important stuff here on this house before we venture out again. So I'm thinking maybe a week trip, Maybe we could get up there for 1 week. There are many Burger Kings, that's right, in Cebu. They're all over the place. They're not as many as there are Jollibee or McDonald's, but there are a lot. Oh, you're coming back. Okay, Bruce, we're looking forward to seeing you. Well, that's all I got for today. And I had a bunch of fun. I hope you did too. Guys, thanks for showing up and giving your love and support. And I give it right back to you. Oh, by the way, we're getting close. We're getting close to getting a paycheck from YouTube. And that money is going to be given away before Christmas. I promise you. I guarantee it. And we have Kenny Rogers, which I love. I love Kenny Rogers. We used to have him here in the States, but they've gone the way of Shakey's Pizza in the States. Shakey's is all over the place. We even have one here in Bye Bye City now. From Sacramento, founded and born and raised by the college, by my alma mater, Sacramento State University. Yes, indeed, the green and the gold. I love that place, and I'm glad that they're here. We're talking about going this week up to Ormoc. That's the closest Kenny Rogers. Great food, great people, love it. All right, everybody, we're out of here. We'll see everybody on the next one. Bye-bye.